One of the best parts of following Magic design for an extended period is seeing the design team find homes for effects that are interesting and fun to play around, but just not quite strong enough to see regular use in competitive or even limited formats. The absolute peak of this phenomenon is when two questionable effects are brought together on a single modal card, making them both not only individually better, but tying their flavor together in such an incredible way. And so if you think I wasn't incredibly hyped by the reveal of Fall is Faithful in End of Eternities, you haven't been paying attention to class. Skull Tap effects have a long and storied history. While not inherently competitive, sacrificing a creature to draw cards is so incredibly core to Black's identity that it's literally the example I would give to a new player of a Black effect. Green plays creatures that are large and stick around. Red plays creatures that are smaller but faster. Black plays creatures that are disposable trash so as to more efficiently harvest them for bits. And because I know that leaving a cycle unfinished upsets people, white plays creatures for plausible deniability when they cast a Wrath of God, and blue doesn't play creatures. Like and subscribe. The way to really tell when an effect is core to design is not if any one card is printed particularly busted. It's if we get multiple functionally identical versions of the card. Village Rites and Corrupted Conviction in Standard. That's when you know this is absolutely what's going on. When you can play 8 copies of something, the message is pretty clear. But these effects have a fundamental design problem. No matter how cheap you make the spell, having a creature is a hurdle to overcome and is always a meaningful loss. Even a 0/1 token that can't block suffers from the fact that creatures are an inherently finite resource. Competitive players might have ruined the concept of playing from the graveyard, but we're not quite at Yu-Gi-Oh levels of as many creatures as we want whenever we want. So the natural response as a designer is to put these effects onto a creature. Fellstinger is 3 mana for draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. And alternatively, if you have a creature worse than a 3/2 Death Touch, upgrade that creature to a 3/2 Death Touch. Not only is it fun and interesting to play around, Fellstinger was one of the better cards, below rare, in its limited format. Honestly, the fact that Fall is Faithful can't target itself is a little bit disappointing, but the flip side is the different modal effect. Effects like Fatal Blow have existed in Black for an incredibly long time, but haven't seen much design use because they suck. Like, they are truly, actually terrible. And that's when they're not being printed at sorcery speed. Because yes, design printed Final Sting Fairy as a creature with the Fatal Blow effect, which sounds great. Flying conditional Ravenous Chupacabra is something I would absolutely sign up for. But the only time this trigger ever actually going off being the second main phase after you've had a creature get annihilated by a blocker makes this just a 4-mana 2/2 flyer with trinket text. Wizards has been making an effort in past years to actively find all of the effects of the game and bring them into a level of playability, which, you know, they should. That feels like a philosophically straightforward thing to say that yes, they should be doing that. Having all of the effects in Magic be playable is a good thing, but even a Fatal Blow that draws a card like You Are Already Dead is just not that good. The answer, as always, stick it on a creature. Downwind Ambusher is an absolutely incredible limited card. When using it as a defensive 4/2 flash creature, the -1/-1 makes it eat surprisingly large creatures, and instead if you've chump blocked with some garbage, you can flash it in for the Fatal Blow and then be attacking with a 4/2. Part of why Fall is Faithful was so impressive to me was that it made a sorcery speed Fatal Blow actually playable by making the sorcery speed mode card advantage. It's the kind of design that I'm honestly stunned we've never seen before, a phenomenon I will always celebrate and I really hope becomes completely normalized.